Hello my fellow Nightcrawlers, welcome to a brand new video. As usual, grab your blankets and grab your snacks and get comfortable because today we're going into the death of Christine Chubbuck. To give a quick little synopsis, Christine Chubbuck took her own life while she was doing a news report on live TV. Yeah. Now on this note, I think there's two ways in which you can approach this entire thing. You can look at it just from the lost media side of things, which is, okay, well, we already found the audio, let's find the video, blah, 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 let's just find the video. Or you can do the latter, which is look into her life, figure out why she did what she did, what led to all of this stuff. Basically paying a little bit more respect to Christine rather than just brushing over the fact that she ended her own life because of X amount of factors. Now, if you're familiar with my content and you've been around here for a while, you know what lens I'm going to be looking at this through. I'm not going to be doing the first one. I'm going to be looking at it in the latter. Looking at her life, what led her to doing this stuff. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, enough of my blabbering. Let's just look into this. What happened to Christine Chubbuck? I'm going to be kind of skipping over a lot of her childhood simply because there's not too much out there, at least that I could find. There's only like a few sentences online explaining her colleges and whatnot, but in terms of like adolescence, there's not too much. In terms of basic information, she was born on August 24th of 1944 in Ohio. When she first went to college, she initially wanted to major in theater arts, but then she eventually switched over to broadcasting, which is what she made her living off of. From 1966 to 1967, Chubbuck worked with WVIZ in Cleveland. During that time, she attended a summer workshop in radio and television at New York University. After bouncing around from a bunch of different jobs over the course of a few years, she joined an ABC affiliate, WXLT-TV. In that job, she worked in the traffic department. It's unclear if Chubbuck was struggling financially, but she eventually moved her way into her family's summer cottage in Florida. During the time that Christine was staying at the cottage, the mother and father of Christine divorced. This left Peg, Christine's mother, and then Greg, Christine's brother, to then move into the cottage. Peg and Greg. And then Christine. One of these names aren't like the other. In the time that Christine worked at WXLT-TV, she was initially hired as a reporter, but then she was converted to be a community talk show host. The show was called Suncoast Digest. It was basically to discuss the community affairs that were happening. So maybe Deborah was out on the beach causing a havoc again, so they would talk about it. The new show was described in a local paper as, quote, "It will feature local people and local activities. It will give attention, for instance, to the storefront organizations that are concerned with alcoholics, drug users, and other lost segments of the community." While it may have seemed that Chubbuck was just super dedicated and super interested in her job, at home she was struggling very deeply. Chubbuck had attempted suicide all throughout the 70s. Even up until the final weeks of her death, she was seeing a psychiatrist, and the mother even feared telling WXLT about her depression and her suicidal tendencies because of the fact that they didn't want her to get fired. Chubbuck struggled very deeply with finding relationships, intimate ones specifically. Christine's brother Greg said that she struggled very heavily with basically communicating with men, socially interacting with them. She was nearly 30 years old at the time of her death and had only dated 2 men. There was an instance in 1974 when Christine had an interest in a coworker. On his birthday, Christine baked him a cake, wanting to get some sort of attention from him, only to figure out that this person was already dating someone else. Understandably so, this furthered her depression even more. She was cited as being very self-deprecating. Any of the compliments that were flung towards her were instantly deflected. She never really took any of the things that came her way. A year before her death, she had to have her right ovary removed. And the doctors explained to her that if she didn't become pregnant within 2 to 3 years, that she was most likely never going to be able to conceive. All of these factors are what lead people to believe why Christine did what she did. Even a week before her suicide, she joked with one of her coworkers saying, "What if I just blew myself away on air?" Yeah. Now we hop into the part that's frankly the thing that interests most people. It's July 15th of 1974, and Christine is just doing her standard broadcast. Before the show started though, she informed her coworkers that she had to read a newscast. Obviously her coworkers were a little confused. She'd never had done this before, but they just decided to roll with it anyway. During the time in which she was reading, she went over 4 stories. 3 of them which haven't really been discovered yet, but the 4th one's basically pertaining to a shooting in a local restaurant. While she was reading though, the reel jammed, basically preventing her from going on forward. She shrugged and nonchalantly looked at the camera and started to say this. In keeping with the WXLT practice of presenting the most immediate and complete reports of local blood and guts news, TV40 presents what is believed to be a television first, in living color, exclusive coverage of an attempted suicide. Once she was finished speaking, she reached into a bag which contained a revolver. Obviously, it was hidden. No one knew it was there. She then placed the gun behind her ear and then fired. Once she fired, it's cited that she violently hit the front of her table and then fell to the floor. The camera crew quickly cut to black and then ran over to Christine, slumped over on the ground, bleeding out. People that were watching the broadcast phoned the police and the news station itself. Some people believed that Christine was just playing a sick, twisted joke. Obviously, that wasn't the case. She was pronounced dead the following day. I'm going to go into the lost media side of things as well, because I do think that's very fascinating. Just do understand, I wanted to give Christine's life a little bit of light. So while this did happen live and probably thousands of people saw it, there hasn't been any footage of it released ever. On January 31st of 2017, there was a video uploaded called Freaky 5 Lost Footage. In this video, it showed what looked like Christine Chubbuck's suicide. The video is black and white, it's grainy and distorted. The audio can barely even be heard. A lot of people were very skeptical of this footage. The YouTuber that uploaded it, Nation Squid, refused to answer any questions in regards to the footage. This basically led people to thinking that it wasn't real. On February 13th of 2017, this footage was proven to be fake. The news director at the time, named Gordon, basically verified that this was just not real. This footage isn't real. While the video hasn't been found, the audio has. As taken from the Lost Media Wiki, in early 2021, YouTuber Adalist acquired what is generally accepted as a legitimate cassette recording of the audio from the incident via an undisclosed private collector, releasing the portion of the newscast prior to the suicide on their YouTube channel in February of that year, though choosing not to publish the actual suicide audio out of respect. The audio matches the video of Christine heard in Kate Plays Christine, and also aligns with the news reported in the Sarasota Herald Tribune from the day of the incident, leaving little doubt as to its authenticity. I felt a little bit more comfortable showing the video on the last one because it was proven to be fake, but I feel with this one being real, I'm not going to include the whole gunshot part, but I'll include her final words basically leading up to the moment. So if this isn't something you want to hear, just skip forward 30 seconds. I'll put a timestamp. Just be aware of that. Ready? Here you go.
As of this morning, Grace Foster, who was shot in that incident, is in satisfactory condition at Sarasota Memorial Hospital. In keeping with the WXLT practice of presenting the most immediate and complete reports of local blood and guts news, TV40 presents what is believed to be a television first, in living color, exclusive coverage of an attempted suicide.
Christine's case is one that's genuinely just sad. Anytime I hear her case, a bunch of people mainly just clamor to the lost media side of things. Which, granted, the lost media side of things is interesting, but it takes away from who Christine was as a person, in my opinion. When you clamor and focus so heavily on finding this footage, I don't know, at least for me, it takes away from who they were as a person and what led them to doing what they did, why they did what they did. So I felt like I'd appeal to both sides in a way. Give some context to why she did what she did, but also touch on the lost media side of things, which is an interesting part of it as well. Before we do hop into the end segment though, I would like to thank my Patreons. We got Soft Spots, Zoo, Shiz, ya boy Cam, Caden, Christopher, Rylan, and Lint. Genuinely, I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for your contribution. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed the video, why not like and subscribe? It definitely helps me out. If you didn't, why not dislike and let me know what I can improve on for next time. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I will see you all in the next one.